Hi there and good morning. So I presume a lot of you have heard that the Motability scheme has had a few changes alongside the announcement that the budget's going to happen by the Chancellor today. So the main kind of news is that there's a bunch of manufacturers that won't be putting their cars up for availability anymore, or rather the DWP and the Motability scheme in particular won't be allowing you to choose those cars. Things like Alfa Romeo, Audi, BMW, it says on there, and Mercedes. So yes, they do fall into the luxury car kind of categories. Do they cause problems for people not having these cars? They can do. I think what we need to understand is that quite often it's not the make of the car, it's the design of the car and the adaptability of the car that is important for people who have a need with the Motability scheme rather than just having a car itself. So to help you understand the Motability scheme, how it works, so it's part of PIP. So you apply for your PIP, and one of the sections within PIP is Motability, where they will assess your ability to like move, walk, not walk, not move. You're basically, it's just movement based, right? And with that, they'll say, okay, you're awarded X amount of points, and points win pounds effectively. There's a standard rate and then a higher rate. It's not a lot of money, really isn't a lot of money. But what you then do with the Motability scheme is you use that money and you offset that money against a car. You don't just get a free car. It's that simple. It's not free at all. And one thing with some of the luxury brands is the higher the cost of the car itself, the higher the deposit that you have to put down on it. It's simple as that. So if you were to lease a car and it costs you £250 a month, this is without having any Motability issues or having any sort of connection with Motability whatsoever, and it's £250 a month. You go into the showroom and you say, can I lease a car for £250 a month? It's going to cost you £250 a month. That is it, right? If you're on the Motability scheme and they award you £100 a month, on the Motability scheme, what you have to do is stump up the deposit yourself in the same way that you would do as with any other lease car, and then use that £100 against the £250 a month. So you still have to pay that difference, the £150 a month. Okay. There's a misconception that people get free cars. We don't. It's simple as that. It costs the same as you who may not be on the Motability scheme. The only difference being is that they are adaptable. So there might be adaptations to them, like a steering wheel can have a kind of roller thing on it to move it around like that rather than two hands. It might be the choice of being automatic instead of manual. It might have extra visibility I guess, mirrors or something like that on it, so that, you know, you might not be able to turn all the way over there to look at that mirror. So you place one there, stuff like that. You know, it could be all sorts of things, right? Any luxuries on top of that, we would have to pay for ourselves, right? So if you see someone driving along and the old classic, oh, they don't look sick, but they've got a Motability car, the chances are they've got an invisible illness, right? Something that you don't know, you can't see, is on the inside, right? And it's probably causing them a load of grief. And it's enough in terms of like physical movement, and they're impaired enough for the Motability scheme to say, yes, you're entitled to X amount of money on the scheme, right? Those people might have a need for an SUV. So like a, you know, a taller car than just your standard, I don't know, Ford Focus or something like that, right? I personally am speaking from experience here. I struggle to get in, but more so out of a normal height car, right? So if I get a cab anywhere, it has to be like a van thing. Yep. And my own car is an SUV because it's slightly taller. Now, of course, that's the family car as well, so it just doesn't make any difference, you know, like if I'm in it or anybody else is in it. But I need that height because I struggle to get out of the car. Now, when I say struggle, I mean struggle. It's not like, oh, yeah, you know, it might take a little extra pull kind of thing, you know, kind of flop, roll, and then someone picks me up. You know, it's kind of that sort of craziness. Anyway, there's tons of misinformation out there on how it works. So if anyone watching this is gonna comment in a negative way, do your homework first, and look up what it actually means. You just would appreciate that before you sort of kind of waste anybody's time, really. But one of the other things that the Motability scheme has announced is that while they're dropping some of these luxury brands, which are kind of luxury, you know, which class some of them as luxury anymore. Yes and no, you know. But one of the things they're doing is they're pushing mainly towards UK built cars. So effectively, you're not putting your money in a German car where the money effectively goes to Germany, the tax paid here, but there's also tax paid in Germany. The UK, if you buy a UK built car, it doesn't have to be a UK based car, like Nissan, for example. Nissan is built here. The taxes paid here is better for the economy. And that is what the Chancellor is going to be also saying today. So getting rid of the higher end cars, if you notice, none of them are UK based. Bringing in the other ones, they are UK based. That is the long and short of why they're doing it. But there we go. All right. Any other questions you have about Motability? I do appreciate all the questions. I will answer as much as I possibly can. In the meantime, have a good day. I might go live later on after the budget to see if there's anything that has affected from a disabilities perspective. Other than that, have a good day. See you later.